The meeting is now called to order. This is the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee meeting for September 11th, 2025. I am the chair, Councilmember Cabrera, Councilmember at Large Maria Cabrera. At this time, I will call the roll for the members of the committee first. Councilmember Darby has asked to be excused, so she is not here. Councilmember Field has also been asked to be excused. Councilmember Hackett.
Here.
Councilmember McCoy.
Here.
Councilmember Owens.
Here.
Councilmember Willauer.
Here.
And Council President Trippy Congo.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you. As a friendly reminder, only members of the committee should be making motions and seconding the motion. At this point, we do have a presentation. We have a presentation, and we're going to invite Ambitious Pathways by Delaware's Department of Health and Social Service, the Office of the Women's Health Director, LaDonna Graham. If you could come forward to the microphone. We are very anxious to hear about your program and the wonderful things that you're doing. I had come into contact with Ms. Graham in her multiple capacities with her work out in the community and wanted to make sure that she shared all her wonderful doings in her new role in her department with us here in the city of Wilmington. You may proceed whenever you're ready. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to start off by saying thank you to the committee for allowing me to be here. I am a part of public health, but today I'm only representing myself as Ambitious Pathways. Great. Okay. I have to say that because there are certain things that have to get approved before you speak before the public. So I just want to make sure that it's in order so that we can represent appropriately. Okay, wonderful. So Ambitious Pathways, providing shade, be the change. What that means is that we are wanting to provide shade where shade is needed the most to our vulnerable communities and individuals here in the state of Delaware. And with that, individuals, we see a need for individuals who are wanting help with housing, help with employment, help with necessities that help to become stable here in the state of Delaware. And there are gaps that people have that needs to be fulfilled so they can fulfill those needs and have a stable lifestyle. Next slide. So who are we? We are a 501c organization that has been doing this work for over 10 years. We've always been in the city of Wilmington to help individuals, and from that we've grown our partnership. We've grown how we service the community. We've grown of how many people actually come through and ask for assistance, and we also grown of how we service them to help them towards that goal again of self-sufficiency. And that's where we came with the word of SHADE. And SHADE stands for stability, healthcare, assistance, development, and empowerment. And that's how we see the whole person when they need assistance from us. We want to help provide some shade where it's needed the most. Next slide. Our mission, as I said, is to help with those insecurities, and every year we do a few things in that mission. That mission, we are standing together as a community to break down those barriers and to build bridges towards a more hopeful future for those individuals and to give each of those individuals the resources that they need to shape through services and through community and help them to make one step closer to hope, help them one step closer to dignity, and one step closer to self-sufficiency. And that has been our mission. Next slide, please. Our programs have made up of we have two staple programs. One is called the HELP event, which HELP stands for Helping Eliminate Living in Poverty. And then we do a Christmas event called London Ride the Ambitious Express. The HELP event is the event that is coming up on October the 16th, where it will be located in front of the Sunday Breakfast Mission, between Sunday Breakfast and the Gateway Men's Housing. We actually, last year, we had over 500 people there, so we do have some impact. In that, if I talk about impact, I can tell you a little bit on the impact that we've helped them out. We try to do one place, one mission, many solutions. And what I mean by that, out of the 500 people, we had 90 vendors to come and participate. In that, we were able to provide 36 laundry and shower services on site. We were able to help individuals obtain their identification documents, such as birth certificates, ID. We had 21 successful individuals receive that. We also engaged or helped individuals have job interviews on site, which 76 individuals actually was able to interview or get employment information. We also connected 54 people with housing resources. They actually led up at the end of the year. We had 2 people that were actually housed. They might have, when I say housed, they actually had a house, but in that 54, they might have been placed in shelters and things of that nature, but to actually have housed and totally stable out of the 54 too. We also provided 10 haircuts on site and 23 vision exams, 30 plus services for public health, and 5 mental health services on site. So the event lasted from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So in that time, if anyone wanted to go through any of those services, they were able to get all of that in one place, which we were very proud of. And so I'm here today to tell you more about those things and how we can connect together because of the expansion. The years before, we've had maybe like 100, and it's grown to over 250. But when we got to 500, we wasn't expecting so many people. But that was a great thing because of those outcomes, and the purpose is to grow, right? And because of the outpouring. People are asking for it. They're stopping us on the street to ask for these services to be done again. And so we're here to provide it again on, Thursday, October the 16th at the same location. And that's what we're here for. We want to actually provide shade to where it's needed most, and those are those vulnerable individuals in Delaware. Next slide. So, in closing, we would love to connect with City Council more. We have had some of you guys to visit those last year in the previous years, and we really enjoy you being there because it shows the community not only to represent your area, but it shows that you care. And those outcomes, we still keep in touch with some of those families, regardless that they're still stable. They still need things from time to time and probably need more resources. It's not a one and done, and that's what makes us, I think, very special in that aspect. And because they're able to get so many things at one spot. You know, we want them to feel good. There are individuals who, if they're homeless, they need a shower. And once they're done getting their shower, they feel inspired to go to the next level and say, oh, okay, maybe I can go try to get this job, get this employment. Oh, okay, well, I need to look good, and they're offered clothing, okay? And then, I may need something for my children. Let me see if I can get some things there. And so that makes us feel very proud to have individuals come out to be successful, and that allow us to come here and see how much more we can connect together to provide these services to the community. So my big ask is, how can you help me provide more shade to Delawareans? Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. At this time, I would welcome City Council members if you have any questions of Ms. Graham, and also we want to make sure that the council members in general, all of council, has the date and time of your event so we can invite them to come out and, you know, be there and show their support.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to recognize that Councilmember Oliver has joined us.
How you doing, Ms. Graham? I'd just like to congratulate you on outstanding work you have done throughout the years. I've worked with Ms. Graham in the past. She does tremendous work, and kudos to you and congratulations. If you could just leave your information here, we can follow up like that because we don't do just like an answer back and forth like that. But just leave, you have your business cards with you?
Yes, I have my business, and I have the flyer of the event today to
Okay, if
hand
you
out.
can leave that here. But
Yes.
I just wanted to say kudos to you. You're still doing a good job. She's helped a lot of my clients, so thanks again.
Thank you. We enjoy it.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilmember Hackett.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for the presentation. Is there, specifically, is there anything that council can do to help advance your nonprofit?
To help advance the nonprofit, I'm always ready to write grants. I know how to write grants or proposals. We're always in need. And there are a lot of things I haven't mentioned, but even from prom, those things, some of those things come up. We just, we have those things available. So I'm open to council to help me. If you have grants or anything that I can apply for to help the community better, that would be grateful. Your appearance helps the community come up. It really shows a lot. And what else is we can have a stronger relationship with each other. So maybe if I can communicate more of the need that is out there. I know that you're doing a lot of things with people, and I've referred those people to those to your prospective programs that you have, which helps them more because we have to work together collectively, and so that's the best way we could do now. Just come on, let's build community together. Let's show Delawareans that we care, but we need them to have input also. But show that we care as together, and that we want to see them succeed, and that's the best thing. Providing funding, that also helps. They helps us pay for, because we do pay for the IDs and things of that nature. We are still working on housing. As you know, that's been an issue. I have been on boards or been in those meetings. I help with sitting in a room with like House Bill 439, 440. So we've been there. I've gone to the meetings. So I'm fighting behind the scenes, trying to learn more. So it's just being informed and allow me to help be a voice for Delawareans.
Can I get a follow-up?
Yes, you may.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. And also, please don't hesitate to, give me a shout out. One of my best attributes is showing up. So
I see you
I'd
out
love to
there.
be able to show up and, be in any kind of assistance that I can. We do get some discretionary funding, and I will be supporting. So just send over, any way I possibly can support. So thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hackett. I also want to recognize that Councilmember Bracy has joined us virtually. Are there any questions from the council members that are on the committee that are here present? Any questions from my council members online? Okay, without hearing any, obviously, I'm going to stay in touch with you in reference to the upcoming event and ongoing events and anything that we can be of service. I'm glad that we finally got together to do this because I know we originally wanted to have you in the spring, but you had just started in your new role. But now, you're moving forward. So count on our support, and thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. And I just leave those here?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Okay, the next is going to be a discussion and update on a conference that I personally attended. One of the things that we're doing on council is that when council members go to different conferences, if they could bring back information to share with their colleagues, which we have all done informally, but now there is a formal process. So if I can have the presentation up, please, on the update from the NALEO conference, which stands for National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officials. This took place in Atlanta from July 21st through the 24th. WITN, do you have that presentation? Oh, I'm so sorry that you did not get that. Well, let me just briefly say that I did attend this conference. We do have some information that we would love to share with the public, which we can make available in a future meeting, and to my colleagues. But one of the main things that attracted me to the conference was that there was a whole one day that they brought in the elected officials before the conference started to talk about the housing issues, which is a very big deal, what's happening in our community and statewide in terms of affordability, availability. There are some wonderful links that they shared with what best practices, what other cities are doing. The other thing that we shared was a It's a, it's an, the Libre Institute did a survey of Latinos across the nation, and it gave the details of how they feel on different topics like inflation, employment, the economy, and the overall feeling was that they felt that the economy was poor. Also, in terms of healthcare and workforce and policies. Now, one of the tools that I'm going to share with my colleagues is, and I really love this tool, is it's an economic mobility catalog, and it has all the details of strategies and by issue area. When you hit the link, it'll talk about the strategies, and then it also has an outcome of what has been done to move forward those strategies. And to give you an example, some of those things have been early childhood education, health and well-being, justice and public safety, financial security, and of course, housing and community development. There's data on high quality employment, post-secondary enrollment and graduation, high school graduation, and the successes in the lower schools like the kindergarten and elementary. So that is an excellent tool that my colleagues will also have an opportunity to share with their constituents and the groups, as well as to use them. The housing was the main thing that we talked about. What are the best practices? What are they doing across the nation? And a couple things that came up were supporting housing. How can we do better at supporting housing? Income-based rental housing, which really helps people in terms of affordability. There was discussion on rent-restricted rental housing, which has been a topic that we recently had here on council as well, and market rate rental housing, and then the final piece, home ownership. So there was from the whole gamut on the housing spectrum. And then addressing vacant and abandoned properties was another important piece of that conference. And it talked about the strategies and are those strategies right for the community? And as we know, we have a land bank here in Wilmington, and we are working with suggestions that are being made now by the community and the council members, and strategizing how to improve what we have going on and how to fix any deficits. So this was also an important tool that showed a lot of the best practices that are being used across the nation, some of which we can implement here in Wilmington. So I do apologize that you did not have the formal presentation to look at the details, but certainly will be shared with you. And just a lot of great information and tools that our staff is currently using. Our policy advisor is looking at some of the material that was brought back and putting some strategies in place that we can address on the things that we're not doing here in Wilmington. Any questions? Comments? Perfect.
Good job.
Okay, so we're going to go on to our legislative part of our meeting, and just wanted to announce that ordinance number 25-045, an ordinance to enact a temporary moratorium on the issuance of new business licenses for corner properties and liquor stores within the city, is pending a completion of an equity impact assessment, and Councilmember Darby will be holding that until a future date when we have more details and she's able to present. So we will move on to ordinance 25-044, an ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code to require landlords to provide written notice of tenants' rights in lease. This is sponsored by Councilmember McCoy. Councilmember McCoy, you can proceed to speak on your legislation.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. So this ordinance is basically to require the landlords to begin including the tenant rights within all written residential leases. Now, the state already has a mandate that
Excuse
the
me one
landlords
second,
provide like a
Councilwoman.
summary of the landlord tenant code.
Councilmember
Okay.
McCoy, 1 second, because
Yeah.
we can't hear you very clearly. WITN, can we get the volume up just a little bit on the online? And then if you don't mind, Councilmember McCoy, make sure you're speaking clearly into the mic so we can understand everything you're saying. Thank you.
Okay. All right. How is this? Is that any better?
Just a little bit more, please. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm a little closer. Is that any better?
Okay, you may proceed. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, as I was stating, this ordinance actually is kind of like goes hand in hand with another ordinance that I'll be presenting at the next meeting. This is it is as is requiring the landlords to provide written notice of the tenant's rights in the lease. What has happened is that the state law already mandates that the landlords provide like a summary of the landlord tenant code, but this ordinance goes a little further by ensuring that the key rights and landlord's obligations are directly on the lease agreement. So this if this ordinance goes through come January 1st, landlords will need to make certain that their leases have this information on there. And briefly, just to let you know what we expect them to be on there, will be about the right to withhold rent, landlord contact information, business license number, right to representation information, certification of code compliance, security deposit return instructions, and volunteer rental escrow program. And that's the escrow program is the other ordinance I'll be presenting. So we want to make certain that everyone who does sign a lease moving forward will have all the information that they require. It will not be just a brief summary like a glazing, but also give them a little bit more information, especially when it comes to how you need to contact your landlord. So this is the ordinance that hopefully it will be coming out to council on I think it was October 7th. I mean, sorry, October 2nd.
Thank you. Okay, we have some questions from our council colleagues. We'll start with Councilmember Owens, Councilmember Willauer, and then Councilmember Oliver.
Mayor Lena.
First off, I want to say thank you, Councilwoman McCoy, for bringing this forward. Arming people with knowledge is always key and critical, and especially in a city that is now predominantly renter dominated. I just want to say, can I be added as a co-sponsor onto this? And I look forward to seeing this implemented.
Okay, thank you. I welcome you on.
Councilmember Willauer.
Yeah, I also wanted to echo what Councilmember Owen said, and just thank you, Councilwoman McCoy, for bringing this forward. And it is important, as you point out in the legislation, that more than half of Wilmington residents rent their primary residence. And so this kind of legislation, it's very straightforward, and it's a step forward in terms of making sure that renters know their rights. So I want to thank you for putting this together, and I'd like to be asked to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, Councilman McCoy, this is overdue. I know you've been working on this for some time now, so kudos to you. And I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Councilmember Hackett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also like to be added as a co-sponsor. I don't know if I missed this part, but just when it says the fiscal impact is unknown at this time, is there any, I would say, thought around that? Like anything you could give us to possibly might, I know I say it's minimum, but just want to know if there was anything surrounding that.
Well, so the fiscal impact normally is our fiscal impact, and we would not be printing this information out. This is up to the landlords to actually make certain that they're educating their tenants. So it is when we say minimal fiscal impact, that is for the city. This is not going to affect us. We want to make certain that the landlords are educating or informing their tenants.
Thank you so much for that one. Just wanted to make sure we put that out there. I appreciate everything that you're doing.
No problem.
And I too would like to be added as a co-sponsor. I know that currently under state law, when someone rents out any living facility, they have to provide them with the tenant's rights. That they're supposed to do that. Now, the good landlords might be doing that. The other ones might not. So just want to be clear that here in Wilmington, we are codifying it to make sure that it is being done and that they're not in violation. Even though they are supposed to do this, we want to make sure that that in the city of Wilmington, it is being done just in case anyone is not following the regulations. And we have Council President Congo.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Okay, duly noted. All right, not seeing any other hands. Are there any questions from anyone in the public in reference to this legislation that you would like to speak on? Is there anyone online? No, and there's no one online. So at this point, Councilmember McCoy, any closing comments? You may proceed.
Yes, thank you. So I just want to say thank you all for requesting to be a co-sponsor. The reason why I had to hold off on the escrow ordinance is because I wanted to make certain that these both went hand in hand. It is important that as we move forward with the escrow, that a lot of information that we require for that is already given to the tenant. So that is the reason why we need to make certain that how you're contacting your landlord, making certain that they have a business license number. A summary is pretty much, if you look at the leasing agreements between landlords now, it's a regular lease agreement, and they basically give you like a printout of what they believe to be like the summary for the tenant. And if it's just going to be a printout, they need to make certain that this printout now includes all of this information. They should all your tenant should always be able to know how to contact you. They should have your business license number and all these things that we've actually stated on here. It should be always at their moment's notice that they need to just pick it up and get more information, because they need to be able to make you aware of what's going on within their dwelling. So I do look forward to making certain that both of these ordinances will be together as we take them to the full floor.
Thank you so much. And can you give us the date again when this will be appearing on the council agenda?
I believe it's going to be on the 2nd. I thought it was going to be on the 18th, but because today is just 1 week before our council meeting, in order to ensure that they'll be together, I believe it's going to be at the very first meeting of October, which I think is the 2nd.
Thank you very much. So at this time, I would like a motion to vote ordinance 25. Oh, no, we don't have to vote it out, so we don't have to do that. Okay, so we can proceed to the next agenda item, which is 25-048, an ordinance to amend Chapter 48 of the City Code regarding uses permitted in the M1 Light Manufacturing Zoning District. I'm sponsoring this as my role as committee chair. And at this time, I would like to invite Gwen from the administration, or whomever is going to speak to this. If you could please come forward, state your name, your position, and then speak to the legislation. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the committee, and members of the public. My name is Abdurrashid Daudu. I'm a planner too in the Department of Land Use and Planning. Today, I'll be presenting Ordinance 25048, which proposes an amendment to the City of Wilmington Zoning Code. This ordinance seeks to expand permitted uses in the M1 district, which is the light manufacturing zoning district, to include public assembly and commercial recreation as matter of right uses. Next slide, please. To begin, Ordinance 25048 proposes two key amendments. First, to update Chapter 48 of the City Code to allow public assembly and commercial recreation as permitted uses in the M1 district. Second, to introduce formal definitions for these terms in Section 48 of the Zoning Code. This addition would provide clarity and ensure consistency in how these uses are interpreted and applied across future developments. Next slide, please. Currently, the city's zoning code prohibits these uses in the M1 districts. That means developers or organizations seeking to open a community center, event space, or even a recreational facility must first go through the Zoning Board of Adjustment approval hearing process for a use variance. However, the Department of Land Use and Planning has seen a growing number of successful applications over the years, signaling a clear shift in the users in the M1 district. This pattern points to an opportunity to align the city's zoning code with current development trends. Next slide, please. The areas shown in red on this map represent the city M1 zoning districts, and this includes places like Garages Lane, Townsend Street, Green Street, New York Avenue, and others. Some of these neighborhoods are no longer actively used for manufacturing, and some are already home to civic recreational activities. These amendments would make it easier to support that shift without going through the ZBA approval hearing process. Next slide, please. A good example of this trend is the Chase Field House, which was approved in 2019 as a public assembly and commercial recreation use through the ZBA. And between 2022 and 2024, the Chase Field House drew more than 2.4 million visits, which created approximately 43 full-time and 45 part-time jobs, and will generate around 195,000 annually in post-abatement property taxes. This is a clear example of how such uses can bring economic and social value to industrial zones. Next slide, please. Amending the code to allow these uses as matter of rights would provide several benefits. One, it would create an opportunity to revitalize vacant or underutilized parcels. It would encourage new investment and create jobs. It would increase access to community and recreational spaces and streamline the zoning process, saving both developers and the city time and administrative resources. Next slide, please. To support this amendment, we are proposing to add clear definitions for two new categories in the zoning code. Number one, public assembly. And this refers to indoor or outdoor facilities where people gather for civic, educational, religious, social, or cultural purposes. And this includes assembly halls, community centers, event venues, stadiums, places of worship, and similar spaces. Number two, commercial recreation. This refers to public or private recreational or entertainment facilities that are open to the public. Examples include fitness centers, arcades, skating rinks, indoor climbing gyms, paintball arenas, and more. These definitions reflect both traditional and modern recreational uses seen across urban areas. Next slide, please. The proposed code changes include adding both public assembly and commercial recreation to the list of permitted uses in this section 48 of the City Code. Incorporating the new definitions in section 48 of the Zoning Code. And lastly, maintaining the existing M1 parking requirements of 1 space per 3,000 square feet of gross floor area, which mirrors the standard for warehousing and industrial uses. Next slide, please. In conclusion, the Department of Land Use and Planning recommends that the committee support the amendment to allow public assembly and commercial recreation as permitted uses in the M1 district, support the formal definitions being added to section 48, and apply the existing M1 parking ratio. We believe this amendment is timely, practical, and aligned with the city's broader goals for economic development, adaptive reuse, and community revitalization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do want to note that there is a public hearing scheduled on this ordinance on October 2nd, 2025, and it should be on the agenda on that same date. At this time, any questions from my council members that are on the committee, and then we'll proceed with any others. Councilmember Owens.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation here. I see that you used the Chase Field House as an example. In the area that I think I'm right with these streets, or around Eden Park area, the streets that you had, the areas included on Green Street, New York Ave, Boston Ave, I believe are all in that area. What is the reasoning behind wanting to make this change to the definition right now? Are we expecting something on the same scale of entertainment to come, such as another field house or something like that on that level?
Yes. So one of the reasons we are proposing this change is to improve the economic revitalization in the city. Instead of every developer coming to us for ZBA approval, we believe that if we make it a general approval to make it as matter of right users, that will save us some time, and it would make development easier and faster for developers. Definitely, there will be opportunities for developments in such scale in the future, and we're optimistic that more developments will come to the city, given this approval.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Yes, you may follow up.
Based off the zoning map, it doesn't look like too many spaces in the city will be impacted by this. Do we think that's going to have a huge impact on economic development if it's only certain areas here? And wouldn't that take away the opportunity for the public to have input on this if they are coming towards y'all for a change in the zoning? If we make it a matter of right, there won't be a zoning meeting that the public can come and speak out at. They won't come to city council to speak out. It just, a developer can go ahead there, correct? If we make it matter of right. Right?
Can you answer that?
Yes, I don't know if Green would like to speak
That's
to that.
correct, Councilman. A matter of right means if they can come in and go into
Gwen, if you could come up to the microphone, please.
I thought my voice was loud.
Well, we have the public and, yeah, it's being recorded, so.
Um,
We can hear you, but the others might not.
It would be a matter of right use, and they would not be going to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, but they're also being allowed in a zone which is appropriate to the type of use, to that type of use. And M1 districts, where they are adjacent to a residential neighborhood, there are buffers in place.
Okay.
And if they're not in place, they will have to be put into place with a new use going into an M1 district. So there are some protections.
Can I ask one more
Yes, you may
follow-up? And I only ask this, especially about the buffers. I think we can have a conversation offline about that because I do have M1 in my district as well too, just for information for me, but then also just to make sure that we're properly doing this the right way. Thank you so much for answering the question.
You're welcome.
That's all.
Councilmember Hackett?
No.
no, you didn't have a question.
I'm totally fine.
Councilmember Oliver?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too, like for someone to just tell me where New York Avenue is, Boston Avenue, Locust Street, and Taylor Street. Could you be more specific? I know where Gashes Lane, I don't want to be voting on something I don't know where, in Green Avenue. I'm looking at the map, but could you just tell me where is that located?
Can we bring the map back, WITN,
Bring the map
please?
back up.
Yeah, so that's slide.
Those areas that he cited, that Abdul cited, are generally in the South Wilmington area off of Walnut Street to the east. It's near the area where the city public works yard is.
Like EDSA?
That's not there.
Eden Park, Southbridge.
I know I'm asking them, could they pull up the map on?
From the
on it?
presentation.
Thank you. And as a follow-up, while we're waiting for the map? And as a follow-up, I want to piggyback off of what Councilman Owens stated. You say as a matter of, and you're saying they don't have to come in front of the zoning board. I think that could also create individual businesses, even though you're talking about buffers, you look up and you have businesses come in and we don't know anything about them. And I thought that was the purpose of the zoning board, so they come in front of the zoning board. Now we're saying, I mean, that's not the little space that we're talking about. That's quite a bit of red places I see. We're talking about the red markers on it, right?
Well, it's not just any business, Councilwoman. It's specifically related to commercial recreation,
Exactly.
Such as basketball, soccer, those kinds of leagues having facilities, and also public assembly, which isn't typically commercial uses. So public assembly could be churches.
I don't. So can I finish?
Yeah, you can follow up.
So I make sure I'm not going to hold up. I talk offline, but right now I wouldn't be voting for this because it just seems like anybody, because you're talking about M1s and M1s, so I talk to you offline about it. It just seems a little strange that we're saying, it's for basketball, it's for this, it's for that, and anybody, for M1s, businesses, what businesses, any businesses can come, and I just like for people to come in front of us so we can tell our constituents or whatever, so we just know what's going on. So I think that's one of the problems in the district. I had somebody come, and I didn't even know they were there, and everybody's like, oh, Councilwoman, you didn't know. So, and I didn't know because it was an M1, and somehow, I don't know, but I'm not getting into that. But right now, I wouldn't be voting for
Well,
it.
let me follow up real quick to just have a clear understanding. What I'm understanding is that in this particular district, for any business to come in there, including these businesses, they still would have to go through a zoning process. So what we're doing is, no, what we're doing is changing it so that they don't have to go through that process, but it is specifically those recreational businesses. It's not just any business, like a retail store can't just go
No, I
over
know
there
what
and
she
open
said.
up.
I understand.
That's
I know what
correct.
M-
So
I know what M1
basically,
is.
so that they're not having to change the zoning, but if there's anything that's questionable, they still would have to come
No, they don't.
before us. Because you were talking about the buffers. You said not, if there's something that's questionable, they still would have to go through a matter of process.
No, I wasn't saying if it
Okay,
was
so
questionable. I
explain
was
that.
saying in instances where M1 is adjacent to a residential district,
Right.
there are buffers in place which protect both sides. As far as being questionable, I think Abdul has done the research on commercial recreation and on public assembly, and the uses that he listed, and he can go over them again if you'd like. These are not typically nuisance uses. They're not commercial retail uses. They're not manufacturing, heavy manufacturing uses. So basically, this is actually a way to modernize our code because our code doesn't really recognize some of the more recent uses that have come into play in the city, and it's just a way to make the process easier. I guess we're not anticipating, any problems with them. The only reason why they have to go to zoning board is because they were not listed as a permitted use when the code was put together, and I think we all know our code is a little outdated.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And Councilman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one thing, is there a project or something that's coming down the pipeline for this to even be thought of or want to be changed?
Well, there are projects coming down the pipeline, but this is not being done for that specifically. As I said, our code is very outdated, and we have noticed over a couple of years that it doesn't accommodate these types of uses. I mean, we have the baseball stadium, that probably needed a use variance. I mean, anywhere there's a sports facility, it probably needed a use variance. And these are things that are typical in larger cities. And we're just trying to recognize that our code needs to be updated, and these are two ways to do it.
No, I agree. I just think when you mentioned the Chase Field House, which was approved by the ZBA, and
That's the most recent
most recent one.
example
Yeah.
to provide you with an illustration of what economic development has done, how the city has benefited from the economic development of that particular facility. But it is not targeted to any specific developer or organization.
No. I wasn't saying that. I was just saying more
No,
on the
I
lines
just
of
wanted to be clear.
the ZBA, like the Field House went through that, and it's doing great things. $2.4 million visits. It's creating jobs, and it's going to create some tax. I'm not sure, if we're going to have more recreation that's going to be on Locust Ave or Boston Ave. Why I can't go through the ZBA and still do the same things that the Field House is doing.
Well, I think the purpose of your map, Abdul, was to just highlight where M1 is now. That's not to say that other areas couldn't be zoned M1. We are going to be doing a comprehensive plan update next year. So if we see areas that might lend themselves to recreation or public assembly, it's a consideration that can be made.
One more follow-up? And I guess for me, the only thing is, that we move forward with this and then, some type of recreation comes that, even though there are buffers there, maybe that community didn't want that recreation or anything there, would probably be put in a tough situation. Right. And that's why I asked, do we get an opportunity to learn about projects that's coming down the pipeline first? And then maybe we say, okay, this is going here and, this is possible. This is a great opportunity for it. Because I think, like you said, the Field House is doing wonderful things. Our kids is playing in there. There's a lot of activities and sport-related different things there. So I think it's a great example. So I I just would like to know more about, what's going to be placed there.
Well,
to fill.
oftentimes, larger projects such as the Chase project, they don't just come in and get their permits. I mean,
Right.
typically, we have to look at other aspects of the project. Sometimes they need a subdivision review. Sometimes they need streets. Sometimes they need a street removed.
Yeah.
And those actions all have public hearings, public reviews associated with them, and City Planning Commission and City Council. So it's not like everything that comes in wouldn't be reviewed. It's just that they wouldn't need that extra layer of approval.
And also, if I may add, usually before this kind of project happen in the city, there's usually pre-development meetings, which they will meet with the planners and sometimes even the mayor's office and the public officers, so we get to discuss and review this project to see if it will be beneficial to the community and advise otherwise if not, and there's also the public assembly component to the amendment also, which we could also talk about. We believe that would also support educational gatherings, civic centers, community events, so there's also that component to that amendment also, not just the recreational facility.
Like graduations and whatnot.
So basically what we're doing is we're cutting out some of the red tape that currently exists.
The extra
and updating, because
yes.
we know that we haven't updated our
correct.
laws. And
Madam President, I'm sorry, Madam
yes,
Chair.
Councilmember McCoy, I have your note that you're next.
Okay.
Go ahead. You may proceed. And then
All right,
Councilmember
thank you.
Willard.
So yeah, I'm curious because I'm looking at the map and I do see some of my area in that map. I had questions about the area that's in Browntown. Are you able to, because I was unable to identify those streets. Can you give me the streets that you have with the red coloring?
She's basically saying the streets that's on the map, I guess.
The
Yeah,
M1
it is
areas
the
in
streets that are on the map.
Browntown?
They're in the
Yes.
6th district in the Browntown region. And I was just wondering, would you be able to identify which areas that is? Because to me, looking at it from this angle, it looked like it may be Beach, maybe, and Anchorage, and
It's off of Maryland Avenue and
yeah,
MLK, south and east of
right,
those two roadways.
That's all right.
right. So the reason why I asked this question is because if I recall, the zoning has already been changed in that area when we just had our comprehensive plan done a few years back. That area actually is where the MVF building is located.
Correct.
And so I would like to know, it's hard enough for me to keep a track of what's happening in the area when it comes to developing and making certain that things are getting moving, the way that I believe that they should be, or that the timeline that people are giving me is actually true to what they're trying to get done. I said for people not to have to come before me or the community does give me pause. So I just wanted to make certain that I put that out there. I do know that this is something that would just move straight to the council meeting, but I just want to make certain that you other members are aware.
Well, I can appreciate that, Councilwoman. I would say that it would be rare for the city not to recommend during a pre-development meeting for a facility, a large-scale facility like this, that they contact the council person, the district council person. That's something we always do from the planning division side. And like I said, I think it would be rare that the city wouldn't recommend that. It's just a natural part of the review, especially with something that has the potential to affect a neighborhood. But also keep in mind that some of these M districts, while they're on the map, are likely not large enough for a large-scale sporting event, and probably are more appropriate for a smaller scale event. So you're probably more likely to go in the South Wilmington area at the time. Did you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
No.
I hope
Okay.
that answers your
If I
question.
may follow up, Madam
Yes, you
Chair.
may. Go ahead.
I just wanted to state, I understand what you're stating and understand why you're here, because we do need to start going through and looking at what we have already and making certain that we're updating things so that we can modernize our city. My issue is that Herb Inden, I think, basically came before me a few years ago, and we made the changes to this map already. And I'm like, this is only starting my third term, and I'm like, and for me to have to make the change again is what gives me pause. Is what I was stating. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Willauer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wondered, I had a question about what falls into public assembly and recreation. And I don't exactly know the laws in Delaware, but are casinos considered social public assembly uses?
I don't think so, no. That would be more commercial.
And also, it does look like there are some M1 districts that are, close to neighborhoods. Not in the 5th district, but in other parts of the city. And public assembly is just more, there's like more going on than kind of the industrial use. So I just wonder, if it makes sense not to be able to have those types of uses go through a process where they have to be like reviewed on a project by project basis to see if they fit in that area. Just echoing some of the concerns that some of the other council members have said about, the compatibility of uses of kind of commercial recreation activities with nearby neighborhoods, because Wilmington is just such a compact place.
Well, as I said earlier, there are buffer provisions in place anytime an M1 district, which is a lower intensity manufacturing district, is adjacent to a neighborhood. Landscaping buffers and the like. In Abdul's research from other cities, this is pretty standard to have these uses as a matter of right. We did not see an issue with it.
Because we actually, before we came up with this recommendation, we looked at what other cities are doing, and we see how other cities are trying to modernize their M1 districts to accommodate these users. And we saw that it would be an opportunity for Wilmington also to leverage this kind of modernization. And looking at our map, there is limited spaces for where this can actually happen. So the buffer is there naturally already. So we just have limited spaces for where we can have this kind of commercial, recreational, and public assembly users in the city. So,
I mean, we did look at other options. You can develop as many zoning districts, I guess, as you want. Coming up with a zoning district that specifically spoke to commercial recreation and public assembly is probably too specific and would only be used in certain instances, and then we'd have to go through not only developing the zoning district and amending the code to put that district type in the code as text. We'd also have to identify areas for rezoning and go through a rezoning process. And this seemed like a way to streamline that process. But I guess there's, other ways we could address it, but this just seemed like the most appropriate given the research and what other cities are doing and what's happening in our own M1 districts right now.
And I think one of the things we may just want to see, because we're looking at the map, but obviously being able to blow it up, to see how many feet or how much distance there is with some of these areas to a residential area, which is really where their concerns would be. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be those type of industries that would cause chaos, but I can understand my council colleagues' concern in, making the change. But a lot of things with our code haven't been updated. And if this is one way to streamline the process, again, we're not trying to cut out council or the public or make sure that, anything nefarious, anything can just go on there without going through an approval. Obviously, I'm sure that the plans or anything that may come that way is going to have to go, as you said, through multi layers of approvals, which there's no way that we would be out of the equation. Just cutting out that one extra step that sometimes takes a while to get into a zoning meeting. You have to be scheduled. It could be a month, it could be 2 months. A lot of delays. That's what the number one complaint people have with government, too much red tape. How to streamline the process. And I know as we're modernizing our systems, we're trying to do the same. So I can see where this is doing this. Are there any other questions from members of the committee? Because we do have someone in the public that wants to speak. Councilmember Willauer?
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a quick question, which is, are there any places where these uses are allowed by right already? Or is this a new set of uses that you found a place for them in the M1?
Yes, one of the places, Los Angeles.
No, I mean with our zoning code.
Districts, the other districts, zoning districts.
No.
So these are all uses that are not permitted by right in any zoning district in the city of
Yes, it
Wilmington.
has always been through ZBA approval. So,
Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm all good.
Okay, and I believe the person from the public does not have a question. Any of my council members that are online, any questions from you before we proceed? Nope, not seeing any. Well, then this is going to go to city council meeting. We are not voting it out of committee. And at this time, I do not believe that we have any other business. I want to thank you both for the presentation, for the details, council colleagues for being here present today, and for members of the public that did decide to join us. This is Councilmember Cabrera reminding you that our meetings for City Council are the first and third Thursday of the month. They start at 6:30 p.m. You can sign up for public comment. And the next committee meeting for Community Development and Urban Planning will be the second Thursday in October. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It has been properly moved in second. All in favor? Respond by.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, everyone.